Raya by Otancia Noel. It was the hour that the dead man bird's calls could be heard, and she waited to hear the shrill piercing sound of the whistle, an indication of the time to leave. Her grandparents were asleep upstairs, and downstairs with her were her four siblings. The grandparents' son, the revolutionist, was in jail, and her mother in the city, taking care of his needs. But life wasn't always like that. Life was serene in the countryside of Irie. Mother was always at home. Ma and Pa were usually on the estate across the river. And father, well, he was never at home. Only God knows what he was doing. Mother thought that he was a truck driver or maxi taxi driver at that time. What When he was not on the job, he was in town with a Ismail party. 10-year-old Raya and her siblings walked to and from school with other children from the neighborhood, kicking crapo, picking gugubef and padu, ringing the house bells and running off and harassing the dogs and cats along the way. Being the eldest grandchild of the renowned estate owner in the village, she always had to be a little less adventurous than the other children, because some Mako would see, and then Ma would give them a good cut ass when they got home. She always thought that the villagers were telepathic. How else could they see, hear, and know everything and report to Ma before the children could even think about doing the things? So, after school, she did not stray much like the other children. She and her siblings went home and basically played the afternoon away on their grandparents' estate. There was always something to do on the estate besides the things that Ma wanted them to do that never got done. The estate was like an enchanted forest with acres of flowers like orchids and anthuriums, fields of fruit trees, cocoa and coffee fields, Ma's variety of herbs and spices, massive groves of bamboo lining the riverbank, teak, palm trees, and the majestic towering cypress and silk cotton trees scattered across the land. Nestled inside this forest were her grandparents' two-story, four-bedroom concrete house and the old house, with its large porcelain, ancient-looking bathtub, which she and all her siblings fitted into quite comfortably. This was a two-bedroom wooden house where her father and his 9 siblings had grown up. Some days they had a treasure hunt, other days a picnic. They climbed the tamarack and mango trees. They fished in the river or just fed the caimans. Well, the argument was always about it's an alligator. No, we only have caiman. Her older brother Raoul, the serious one, usually insisted. Sometimes they caught small river crabs and boiled them in milk pans on the river bank. They never ate these, but whenever their English or Yankee cousins visited, they would usually offer them this traditional delicacy, assuring them that they ate this all the time. Of course, when Ma caught them, they had to help feed the chickens, the ducks, the pigs, grind spices, and help to make the fruit preserve from plum, mango, sour cherry, or whatever fruit was in season. And they had to listen to Ma's stories about how life was easy for them and how hard it was back in the days in Grenada, when Ma was a little girl getting up before cock crow to do all the work on the cocoa estate, then walking for miles barefooted through the estate and crossing the river to go to school. Ma would then launch an attack on nowadays children, who she swore were spawns of the devil. No respect, no manners, Lord Jesus, Ma would say, as she rocked back and forth while doing whatever odd job she would be doing at this time. You couldn't even think about bringing one of those pawns into the estate yard. Ma would say, stick to yourself, it's for all you. That is enough, and don't ask the neighbor, who, by the way, was a good walk away, for some salt even. Don't take anything from anybody in school or otherwise. Forget all your father and his religious nonsense. These were some of Ma's life lessons that she chanted to us on what seemed like an hourly basis. But let me tell you about Ma. She was a strong woman, wise and proud. She worked very hard to achieve all that she had on the little island of Irie. When she had come to Irie at the age of 17, she had worked first as a servant. Then she married Pa, who came from Grenada a year after her. Pa, on the other hand, the product of a mulatto mother and white father, was a typical laid-back womanizer and socialite. But he did his part. Ma kept him in line. Pa couldn't work as long or as hard as Ma, and he often lamented about the hot sun on my white skin. But the grandkids usually clung to Pa. He was our swordfish grandpa, who would let us get away with murder. Ma sometimes left the house while they were still dreaming, with her cutlass, a flask of coffee, and a piece of bake. She came